This is MP Cards and Games doing my budget dinosaur deck profile. So this deck profile all up should cost you around about 150 Australian. And in America I think it would be divided in half, which I haven't really done the calculations in American, but you can do that yourself if you want. So for Americans it will be under $100 this deck. But for Australians it would be about 150. This is if you get all the cards about near mint and you put them at their lowest prices. I'm not saying that you get it at lightly played, but near mint's still good condition. Near mint's still really good condition, and it's a lot cheaper than just getting it's a lot cheaper than getting it's a lot cheaper than getting complete mint, and a lot of these cards come in lower rarity, so I'll tell you if I've got the card in a higher rarity, I'll tell you the lowest rarity and the cheapest versions of them, so you can get them, and I'll tell most of the prices. All the structure deck stuff though I'll just cover under one price tag. So we run the babies, we run 2 Petite Pteranodon and 3 Baby Sarah. This one's the best one. The Baby Sarah is the best. The Petite Pteranodon's not that good, like it's okay, but doesn't let you attack and only lets you get level 4 or higher. So this one allows you to also get another baby, not like this, how it only really, you normally only go for your level 4s in this one. That's why I run 2. You can run this at 3 or 1, and in this version it isn't as Truking heavy. It still does have a Truking engine in it, but it isn't as heavy. I'm just showing the structure deck stuff first though. 1 Tyranno Infinity, 3 Miscellaneousaurus. This is pretty much Forbidden Lance, but only during the main phase. But you more use it for its vanishing effect, so it can vanish as many monsters from grave as many dinosaur monsters from grave as you like. To special summon a dinosaur monster with that same level from your deck. So you normally go into your Duracolo. With this, since Duracolo's gotten a lot cheaper since I first got it, I did put it in the deck, but I'll show you another option if you can't find or afford a Duracolo. But if you run a Duracolo, it's a lot better than running this other option that I have. But we run also 3 Soul Eating Oviraptor. This is Stratos and a Call, like pretty much a Call the Haunted. So it's a Stratos and a Call the Haunted, and it's the best dinosaur card in the deck. You run 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. You could run this at 3 in this budget version, but I think 2 is good enough. Even in my normal versions I run 2 because I like the 2 ratio. Then we run 3 Fossil Dig. This is your Rhoda, but it can go all the way from level 1 dinosaurs to level 6 dinosaurs, so in my opinion it's slightly better than Rhoda. Then we run 2 Twin Twisters because they do come in the structure deck. This one's common, and this common one comes in the structure deck. The super one doesn't. But the thing is, I only have I have another common, but I don't know where I've placed it at the moment. But I had this super lying around, so you can get the 2 commons in the structure deck, so that'll just be the structure deck costs. And then you got the 3 Lost World. This is still a really good field spell, not as good as Diagram, but sometimes I do feel like this sometimes can be as good. All non-dinosaur monsters lose 500 attack, and once per turn, if you summon a dinosaur monster, you can give your opponent a level 1 dinosaur with 0 attack and 0 defense token to your opponent's side of the field. And when a normal dinosaur monster would be destroyed by a card effect, or an attack, you can send a dinosaur monster from your grave instead to negate that. So normally with that you would maybe use like an Oviraptor to try to get something back from grave, like maybe your Miscellaneous to pop their token, but then you send a Baby Sarah and you get like another Miscellaneous out, and then you go into some of your Exceed that I'll show you later. But Lost World's a really good card if you cannot afford Diagram, and even if you can, if you only have 2 to 1 Diagram, I still recommend running it at 2 to 1. Then we run for the hand traps. This is the structure deck. The 3 structure decks will cost you around about 54 Australian dollars for the cheapest of each structure deck. Probably the most expensive would be 20 each, which I paid for it, but you can get them for all up 54 if you're lucky, and that's what I've counted in this. So you can get this much. You can get like more than half the deck for like $54. Then for the hand traps, you run the one Maxi, and the Maxi would be costing. This is not the lowest rated version. The lowest rated version was common that came in the Ancient Gear structure deck, and that version will be costing you about $5.27 for near mint. Then we run the one Ghost Ogre, which near mint this is the lowest rated version, the Mega Tin. Even though it's $9, which is one of the most expensive cards in the deck, it is just so good against Zoo, and it's good against other matchups as well. So I'd recommend running this up one or more. But for near mint, it would probably cost you around about $9, the Mega Tin version. Then for our True King engine, we're running 3 Lithosasm. I don't think I ever say that correctly, but for 3 of them near mint, it's about $8.25 Australian. Again, these prices are different in America and in any other country. Then we run our budget diagram. I used to actually run this before I had diagram, so it isn't too bad of a card, because first of all, they can't really Ghost Ogre it. It's pretty much, and it has a secondary effect as well. So if you've ever bricked like with a True King in hand, you can activate this to discard a True King and then draw 2 cards. Even though it's just paying off itself, it can get you out of a bricky situation. But the major effect you use it for is so it can add a worm type monster, so you can add your True King engine. So we run 2 of those. Then we run the one Dirac Olo. Dirac Olo at this stage would cost you about $7.91. Dirac Olo is one of the most consistent cards in the deck. It can brick you though. It's like a Garnet. You love to have it in your deck, but you hate to draw it. So the one Dirac Olo, the other version, if you cannot find or afford a Dirac Olo, which I haven't got the pricings for these, but these shouldn't be too expensive. The 3 Contract with the Gate and the 1 DD Lamia. This does take up more room in your deck, but the theory between this is you activate Contract and then you add Lamia, and then thanks to Lamia's effect is you can send this to the grave to special it from hand or grave, but then it gets vanished. Or if you haven't, or if you've got a few monsters on board and you still have your normal summon, you can normal summon this, sync, and then vanish, then send this to the grave, sync again, and then vanish it. But that's only if you have the budget, if you really can't get your hands on a Dirac Olo, but you should be able to for under $150 near mint. No, it doesn't cost you $150. You should be able to get it for $7.91 near mint. But the whole deck should be round about $150 near mint. And you probably have a lot of these cards that are in this deck, especially if you got the structure deck. You should already have a lot of the cards. One Dolgaron, it's a searchable off Overraptor, and it's good against True Kings and against most matchups. Kaijus are just good, but especially a searchable one without needing to play Slumber. I don't run any more Kaijus in main and side because we just couldn't squeeze in the money for it for this version. But in my normal version, I have other Kaijus, but I don't run them in main, I run them inside. Then one of the best cards in deck is Great Rex. What it does is when it's vanished, it can special summon itself. It's only once per turn though, and it gains 200 attack for each vanished, but it cannot attack directly, but that doesn't really matter. Normally you use it as rank 4 or synchro fodder. And then to go with it is a new tech choice that I've seen, and I did actually explain it in my non-budget version of this deck profile. 3 Gold Sark, because with Gold Sark you can activate it, then you can special your Rex straight from deck, so it's like, it's a free special really. It's really good to get that special out, and then you have another normal summon, so you can least guarantee a Lagia. If you draw this and another level 4 dino, you can guarantee at least a Lagia or a Dolka, which is really good to guarantee a Lagia or a Dolka, at least. So yeah, and even if you draw this and you've used all your Rexes from deck, or you've drawn all your Rexes, this is still not too bad, because you can always like do it with the Soul Charge or something else to add it later on in the duel. And sorry, I didn't actually say the price of the Dolgaron. I just realised that a near mint should be costing you around $5.38, but you might already have like a Dolgaron. And also the Great Rexes are very cheap, because Battles of Legends Light Revenge just gave us so many good cards to extra add to this deck, because it's like such a good set that everything's really cheap in it. So for 2 Giant Rexes near mint, it should be $1.30, which is really good. For the 3 Gold Sark, you can get, this is just my ultra rare. I would have shown my 2 commons and my platinum rare that I had, but I traded 2 of my commons the other day, because I told this to some other person. They wanted to play it with their one as well. So you can get the common, and the common is the cheapest. For a common near mint for 3 would be about $1.23, which is really good. To get 3 cards that allow you to search pretty much anything in deck, but most of the time allow you to special 1 monster. Then one thing that this is just before Links, so Norden is banned. And this deck isn't situated for Links, this is pre-Links, but still not too bad with Links coming out. You just have to add a few more Link monsters, but I run 2 Soul Charge. Not Soul Charge, sorry, Instant Fusion. I'll tell you why we don't run Norden, but we run a lot of other good fusion monsters, and you can get this in common. I don't actually have any commons, I only have the super, but for common instant fusions, for 2 of them, near mint would cost you about $3.40. Normally I don't do the prices and that sort of stuff, but because I wanted to sort of tell you the prices without having to do a PDF file and everything with the actual sheets that I've got, I'm just telling it just for this budget deck profile, but I don't normally tell the prices for every single card near mint. 1 Soul Charge. You can get this as common. I've got plenty of commons. I might even have one nearby. No, I don't have one nearby at the moment, but you can get this in common, so it's not too hard to get. And it's a really good card for any deck now. Most decks have realised that this card is good, especially now with Norden banned and everything. And if you open this first turn, and you have enough to make a Calamities, you can probably make a Nat Beast, or you can probably either make 2 Calamities or a Nat Beast, Lagia, and Dolka. And this is also really good to see late game. If you're still surviving late game and you still have a few life points left, it's a really good comeback card if they Regeki you or something, or do too many Kaijus on you. Then Dark Hole. This is the only mass removal we've got in this version of the deck. I normally run a Regeki, and sorry, the Soul Charge would cost you around $2.32, but Dark Hole's one of the only destruction cards in the deck. If you have second one, I'd recommend running a second one. But the good thing about this card, as long as you don't have like a big Calamities board, but if you brick with one of the babies, you can activate Dark Hole, destroy the baby and all your opponent's zoo monsters, let's say if they've got a zoo board, and then you get a monster on board, like a Oviraptor on board, and you've destroyed your opponent's like massive field, which is really, really good. So normal common Dark Hole shouldn't be too much, but normally a common near mint would be like $1.06 for a common near mint. But it's been printed so many times, which you should probably have heaps in that you already own already. 1 Pot of Equivingness. This is a tech of mine that I love, because one problem with the dinosaurs decks in general is they run out of resources way too quickly. So if you vanish too much of your stuff with your miscellaneous sources, you can actually shuffle back your stuff and draw 1 card, which is really good. Like sometimes if you see this card and you have a miscellaneous in deck and you have some really good grave monsters that are dinosaurs and that you want to see back into your deck, you just vanish those to make another monster, then activate this and get a sort of like a +1. and a near mint version should be costing you around $1.59. And then Solemn Warning. This is like really good. We don't have the strikes because they're too expensive, but you can get common near mints for pretty cheap, and it negates any type of summon. It's been printed a lot of times as well, so you might have it in your staple binder, sorry. And it goes around $4.70 near mint. So Solemn Warning is just a really good card and has always been a pretty good staple since its release. Now for the extra deck. We'll be going through it, and the first card on the extra deck will be the Thousand Eyes Restrict. Thousand Eyes Restrict. Because you're running 2 instant fusions, you want the instant fusion target, and it's fairly budget compared to a few other extra deck cards you might have in a normal dino deck. But the good thing about this, and it will be better during Lynx, I like how Lynx makes this card better. You activate Instant Fusion, and this is one of your 1-for-1 cards, so you activate Instant Fusion, summon it. So if your opponent has a Trident, you activate Instant Fusion, summon this, so they either have to pop the Thousand Eyes, or see their Trident go away. And then when Lynx come out, you can make this into a Lynx Spider or something, but before Lynx, you're pretty much making sure you bait out their Trident. And then you can go with all your dinosaur plays, because this did not cost you your normal summon. So you can pretty much just bait out their plays, and this is the cheapest version. And it's about $1.33 near mint. So Thousand Eyes is a really good card. Still was better back in GOAT, but it's still an okay card to bait out stuff, and since you don't have too much removal in this version, it's a good card. Rare Fish. Rare Fish is because we no longer have Norden, it's pretty much just helps you level 4, so you can go into an Abyss Dweller or another good level 4 play if you only have one dino. If you only have one level 4 dino and you know you can't really do much else. Or it can help you make your other thing that I'll show you later. And Rare Fish is actually a bit more expensive than what I originally thought. But it's about $5.09, probably because they were short printed. Another good card is Sea Monster Theseus. Sea Monster Theseus is pretty good because it allows you to get an instant Vermilion. I don't actually have my Vermilion with me, but I'll tell you what it does. Because I proxied it because I couldn't find my Vermilion. I've been looking for the last day trying to find it, but I couldn't find my Vermilion. But it's just like a tuner that's level 5 and can be specialed off Instant Fusion. And for a near mint Australian version, you should be looking around $4.75. Then now to our synchros, we go into Denglong. Denglong's a really good card in this deck because you can make it with a Dirac Olo and one other monster, and then just send a True King and make this level 9, so you can make True King of all calamities a lot easier. And that should be forking you around about $3.94 near mint. Then Allied Justice Catasta. This is not the lowest rarity version. Lowest rarity version I think is a super. You can run this or Amades, or if you have Shambara Knight, run that, but I really only have this and Amades, and this can get over, as long as your opponent's not playing a dark deck, this can pretty much get over most stuff, which I don't mind making it in that situation. This is my proxy for Vermilion Dragon. Vermilion Dragon in this version is pretty good because of Sea Monster Theseus. It's a level 9, 2700 attack. I'll hopefully get a picture of it, but its effect states that you can vanish a tuna monster from grave to destroy one card of your opponent's field. It's not the best effect, but you mostly use it to pretty much use instant fusion with Theseus with one of your with one of your level 4 dinos, and then you can make it, and then you can hopefully make True King of all calamities with it, so it just helps make calamities a lot easier. And Vermilion should be costing you around about Vermilion, sorry about this. Vermilion should be costing around $2.64 near mint. Now one thing that's so good that they've pretty much put this in Battles of Legends Light Revenge. Even though this is not the lowest rarity of Trish, I would recommend getting Battles of Legends Light Revenge version because it is the cheapest version. So this is the one where you would follow me on. I do actually have another version, and I've in my lifetime had 4 Trishes. I traded 2 and now I've got another 2 again. But the secret rare Trish from Battles of Legends Light Revenge is pretty easy to get, and that's made the price so much cheaper. It might even get cheaper after this video. But at this stage it is $4.20. This is such a good card to make, because if you have 2 dinosaur monsters and you know you can't make a Nat Beast and a Calamities that turn, or a Lagia and a Calamities that turn, sometimes it's just better just to Trish your opponent, watch their field fade by vanishing it. So it's just so nice to have Trish now, because it also helps you make Calamities. And then we run the one Bistowel, really good against the mirror match, and also I've heard it's pretty good against True Draco. I've never actually faced against True Draco, so I actually cannot say if it is good against True Draco. But it's also good to make with Rare Fish because it gains 500 attack. So a Bistowella will be costing you about $2 near mint. This is the last version, the gold rare version. So yeah, and then Gargagar Samurai. I only had 1 printing, but it does allow OTKs, and also the detaching the material. If you had something like Miscellaneousaurus on there, you can detach it even if you don't have a battle phase. So detaching it, just doing an instant detach is pretty good anyway, and that should be costing you around about $1.81 near mint. Then another really good card. This is not the last rarity. I'm not sure if the Duelist Saga rarity or the gold rarity is actually lower, but they're probably cheaper. I forgot which one I looked up to actually check the lowest prices for it. But Castel's just really good because it's spot removal, and it can pretty much shuffle anything back into the deck as long as it can be targeted. And also its secondary effect that not many people use it for, but can also be pretty good, is detach 1 Xyz material, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense, which I've never used that effect, but I don't know why I've never used it. I don't know why other people never use it, because it can be a Book of Moon twice. Pretty much just not a quick Book of Moon. And it'll be used less, that effect, because of links, but most people use it, like me, for its second effect, detach 2 and shuffle 1 face-up monster back to the extra deck. But Castel near mint should be costing you around $3.43 for the gold or Duelist Saga rarity. Now this is the last rarity, either this or the gold edition. I'm not sure which one's cheaper again, because I looked up the prices not too long ago, but like only last night, but I can't 100% remember what rarity I looked it up for. But Silent Honor Arc, similar reasoning to Castel. It's a little bit better and worse in some situations. What it can do is you detach 2, and then if your opponent has a special summon monster in attack mode, it becomes Xyz material to this card. So you detach 2, take their monster, and it's now Xyz material to this. But another thing that I also like it for, and sometimes like it over Castel, is its secondary effect. When it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 Xyz material instead and keep this on the field. So you can sometimes steal your opponent's monster, then have this, and then activate something like Dark Hole, and then this stays on the field and all their field's gone, pretty much. And then we run the 1 Dolka. Oh no, sorry, the Silent Honor Arc should be costing you around $3.97. But the 1 Dolka, I only recently got the Dolka, and it's a really good card. I think the secret is the lowest version. This lowest version is the secret tin version. This is not the tin version, this is the other version, but the tin version is the lowest, and to get 1 Dolka near mint for the tin version, it's about $3.68. And then I have 2 Lagias. Originally I only had 1 Lagia myself, and no Dolkers, but recently I got 2 and we can actually fit this in the budget, which is really good. That we can fit Yugioh and 2 Dolkers. That's sort of why I cut a bit down on the main deck. And it comes in lower rarities than this Ultra and this Duelist Saga. The last rarity is actually Super from a tin, I'm pretty sure. They will, for 2 of them, it will cost you about $2.36. Then for the final extra deck monster is 1 True King of all Calamities. Even though in my normal deck I run 2 of them now, I used to only run 1. And with this version, it doesn't do fully Calamity spam. You try to make Calamities, but like sometimes you just like can't make it as quick as other decks. I would put Nat Beast in this extra, but that would cost a bit more money and that would take us over the budget. I will be showing a side though, which I recommend for people to get. But Calamities is a really great card, and when you can make it, definitely make it. It pretty much just negates all monster effects of your opponent, all your opponent's monster effects, and prevents them from attacking. And I think like Calamity, since it was a super, made it pretty cheap, which was a good reason that they didn't make that End Diagram secret. They made Diagram secret, but at least they didn't make True King of all Calamities secret, which is really nice for budget players and for most players in general. I think it's about True King of all Calamities. You can get it for near mint for 33 cents, so that's a really good pricing. Now for the extra deck, side deck. Most of these cards come from the structure deck, so you don't have to chip in any extra money. There is a few that I would recommend just chipping in that little bit extra money just to get, because they're really good. But first of all, the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Just the third one, just in case you want to run the third. Third Twin Twister, because you never know what you could face, and Twin Twisters is a really good card. 3 Swords of Concealing Light. Sorry I proxied 1, but I couldn't find my third. But this is like, until links, this is a pretty good card, because it makes all your opponent's monsters go face down to defense for 2 turns, until this is destroyed. So you can pretty much get rid of problematic effects with that for the turn, then attack over them. Then also similar reasoning, Quaking. So when your opponent attacks, it flips them all to face down defense. Isn't going to be as good during links, but still good beforehand, and it comes in the structure deck. So if you're not running it in main, run it inside. Is strongly recommended for me. Would be strongly recommended, and it's just a good card. Even when links come out, it's not too bad. It's just nowhere near as good because links can't be put face down. Then something that you don't see many people run anymore is Grand Horn of Heaven. 3 side, because it's also in the structure deck, and also it's still a good card, because if you side it in against something like Zoo, you pretty much stop their main phase once they've gone into one of their extra deck monsters. I know they draw a card, but stopping them from their Dryadens is really good, and they can no longer conduct their main phase once, so if they have no monsters, they can't really do a battle phase or anything, so they can, but it's still a really good card against a lot of decks. Now a few cards I recommend just chipping in the extra $9 for, or about $10 for, and a lot of these come from the new Battles of Legends Light Revenge. Is 1 Denko Sekka. Denko Sekka is such a good card against Palo or the Rogue matchup, which if you're playing this version, you're probably a casual player if you can't afford over $150. So this card is really good against other casual players who might be playing Yosenju, which I love Yosenju, if you've seen any of my other deck profiles, but Yosenju, Barrier Stun, Paleozoics, and just other decks that may come out in the future that this card can just absolutely wreck. And you don't play that many traps, so it doesn't really stop you, it pretty much just stops your opponent. And this is one of those ones where I don't recommend getting the Ultra Rare unless it does become cheaper, but at this stage the Secret is way cheaper than the Ultra Rare, so get the Secret Rare version, which is for near mint, $3.93. Then also I recommend getting 2 Anti-Spell. This just shuts off certain matchups, especially Pendulums. This like kills Pendulums. This is like best card against pendulums. I'd recommend getting the Ultra Rare from Battles of Legends Light Revenge, because that is the cheapest. I know I've got a common here, but I already had a common from my staples. I haven't pulled a second Ultra Rare yet. But this is a lot cheaper than even the common one, so I'd recommend. This also allows you to bling out a little bit, and it's even cheaper. So, yeah, and this is also good against other matchups like Blue Eyes and other matchups where they really need their spells turn 1. And that will be costing you for about 2 anti-spell fragrance, about $5.24, which is just so amazing. I remember when these were $20 each. I got this when it was 20, now I'm a bit sad, but I remember when these were $20 each, and now you can get them for like a quarter of the price. Which is really good for Yu-Gi-Oh players, not for vendors, but for Yu-Gi-Oh players. One chalice, I actually haven't looked up the price for this, but I'd probably even recommend running it in main. It pretty much just negates effects. I know the monster gains 400 attack, but like, what's the big deal? You're negating their effects, especially if it's on a Trident where they've probably only got 0, or if they've got 1200 attack, you've lowered their attack to only 400 because their effects are negated. So really good against Zoo and good against other decks. And let's say you somehow need 400 extra attack to win the game. You could probably just slap it on your own monster if worse come to worse. So I'd probably more recommend running it in main, but that was just a last minute thing I thought about. But the budget deck profile, the budget deck should cost you exactly probably about 150 if you get everything near mint. If you get it any higher, it might cost you more, and if you get it in higher rarities than what I've suggested, then it will cost you more. But I hope you guys, this can be a really good competitive deck, and it isn't dead during links. It's still good during links. You just have to make a few adjustments. And also, if you've seen my last video, I'd love to get a few more subscribers so I'd be able to do a giveaway and make a video on how to make your own token. So if I can get up to 25 subscribers by October the 1st, I'll do a video on how to make your own token, and I'll make a special token for some viewers and give away one of them. This is MP Cards and Games signing out.